Federal Court Judge Tan Sri Nalini Padmanabhan said former Prime Minister Datuk Sri Najib Razak and his son Datuk Nazifuddin Najib's appeals against summary judgments compelling them to pay their tax arrears would open a floodgate of cases by those also disputing the taxes to be paid. The Inland Revenue Board is seeking 1.69 billion ringgit from the convicted former PM and 37.64 million ringgit from his son. Najib is arguing that he is being denied a fair trial since the court does not have the power to entertain any plea on the amount of tax sought, whether incorrectly assessed or not. Judge Nalini, however, suggested that the case should be looked at from the viewpoint of the country instead of the taxpayer who says his rights has been impinged. She said, if every taxpayer comes to court to have a full trial on the amount assessed, the country would come to a standstill, and the B40 who rely on taxes as a means of income redistribution from the wealthy would be wiped out, as there would be no money. The request by the Malaysia Competition Commission or MyCC to have a federal court's decision reviewed will be heard on June 27th. MyCC is attempting to get its fines of 10 million ringgit each on AirAsia and Malaysian Airlines system reinstated. The Commission had imposed the penalties on the two airlines after finding that they had breached the market sharing prohibition under Section 4.2 of the Competition Act 2010 by inking a deal on sharing markets in the air transport services sector within Malaysia. The fines were lifted in 2016 following the airline's appeal to the Competition Appeal Tribunal, following which MyCC got the fine reinstated by the High Court in 2018. The court's ruling was, however, overturned by the Court of Appeal, and that decision was upheld by the Federal Court last year, resulting in the current review being fixed for a hearing at the end of this month. One of the two automated people movers, or aerotrains as they are called at the KLIA, is expected to start operating next year. Transport Minister Anthony Loke said his ministry had instructed airports operator MAHB to ensure that works to upgrade the system are completed on schedule or earlier. He said in the Dewan Rakyat that the train is at the end of its life, as it has been in service for 25 years, and that the service had to be suspended as the decision to replace it had not been made sooner. He acknowledged that the issue has given a bad image to the country since KLIA is a main gateway, and that he has put pressure on MAHB to ensure that the plan is implemented according to schedule. Loke also clarified that the aerotrain project is not under the responsibility of the Ministry of Transport, but funded by MAHB. Property developer UOA Development is looking to venture into the F&B business with the inking of a term sheet agreement between its units Armada Harta Segar and Regenta Development and Hokkien Peng Restaurant Group and Hoteland. Hokkien Peng's main business activities lie in investment holdings, whereas Hoteland's two units, Bamboo Estate and Bamboo Circle, operate Botanica Co-Restaurant and Potager in Kuala Lumpur. Armada will provide the 21.17 million ringgit setup cost of the business by way of subscription of redeemable preference shares or RPS in Hoteland at a subscription price of 1 ringgit per share. Hoteland will become a 51% owned subsidiary of UOA. Subject to Hoteland making a profit, the redemption of the RPS by Hoteland can be made partially or wholly on a yearly basis at the same rates as the subscription price. If the redemption of the RPS is made after 5 years from its issuance, Hoteland will fully pay a cumulative dividend of 8% per annum up to the date of redemption of all the RPS. Shares of UOA closed unchanged at 1 ringgit 60 cent, with a market capitalisation of 3.85 billion ringgit. Southsea Gold has accused the new management of Bahvest Resources of providing misleading information about the firm at yesterday's EGM. Sabah-based Southsea is 75% owned by Datuk Loh Fui Meng, who is Bahvest's founder and its former chief executive officer. The EGM had been called for by a group of Bahvest shareholders to remove Loh, along with his son and former executive director Loh Tek Yong and former chairman Datuk Sri Dr. Muhammad Kamal Bilal, after the MyCC raided Bahvest's operations centre in Tawau. The trio resigned their posts in Bahvest before the EGM was held. At the EGM, Bahvest's new management claimed that just before the elder Loke exited the group, the Bahvest founder transferred 13 million ringgit to Southsea as a non-refundable deposit to commence negotiations about compensation for alleged wrongful occupation and trespass on a plot of leased land. Southsea rejected the claim today, saying the 13 million ringgit was actually a negotiated compensation, reduced from the 20.4 million ringgit sought in an original letter of demand. It said Bahvest's position to not pay the remaining 7 million ringgit would be an act of bad faith and misleading to shareholders. Bahvest's shares gained 10.42% to 26.5 sen, giving the group a market value of 321.7 million ringgit.